Hello and welcome to the Narc Alert, the channel where we look at YouTubers and others to see if they demonstrate any traits that fall within the spectrum of narcissistic personality disorder or NPD. These videos are for fun and entertainment purposes only, strictly my opinion, and remember, please don't send any snark to our possible narcs. So key points to remember: messy fun and not a diagnosis. Hello my lovely alerts and welcome back to the Narc Alert. In this video, we're going to take a look at Pastor Apostle David Taylor. David Taylor is a friend of Jesus Christ. He has been granted over 120 face-to-face visitation appearances from Jesus. He has been running his ministry for over 30 years and prophesied that Russia was going to attack America and result in the presidency of George Bush, as well as dreaming of the financial centers of America being attacked, which was fulfilled with September 11th attack on the World Trade Center. According to David Taylor, Joshua Media Ministries International, JMMI, represents a path to the kingdom of God, a journey shepherded by a full-fledged prophet. There is not a lot of information about David Taylor's early years aside from his own words, where he says, "The Lord appeared to him at the age of 17 and changed his life." He claims that during that visitation, he told the Lord, "No, you do not need any more preachers. What you need is something new."
I couldn't accept the dead, religious, traditional church. And I love God's people and I love the body of Christ, but I saw that there was a lack of the reality of God. And I said, I can't live like this. And then when I was called to preach, I said, Lord, you got enough preachers. I said, if I can't have what they had in the Bible, I don't want no part of this. Give me the real thing. Give me what I'm reading in the Bible. I don't no more want to preach to people about Bible stories, and this can't happen. That's the way I explained. I said, I got to have the real thing. And so we came to me in a dream at 19. He says, and I had just graduated of being a chef. He says, if you want what you're asking for, he says, you must give up everything you own. You must give up your career. You must walk away from everything and walk by faith on nothing. And I will begin training you for this type of ministry.
Once David gave up everything for God, God took him under his wing and began to personally train him for the miracle ministry. God told David that if he wrote a book, that God would then change millions of other people's lives as well. Pastor Taylor tells people that if they buy his book, the Lord will personally appear to them. His ministry has apparently cured countless of people of all kinds of ailments. He does tours. He has a ton of merch and a YouTube channel. He refers to it as a media ministry. We're going to take a look back at his very famous deposition, where he was called to account for the spending of his ministry. They take in literally millions of dollars each year from tithes and donations to the church. The interesting thing about this deposition is that, although it was 4 years ago, there has never been a resolution, and Pastor Apostle David Taylor is still touring and preaching his word. Now, let's take a look at the deposition.
On November 29th, 2013, JMMI paid over $6,000 to Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
What would that be for?
Well, this is for clothes concerning my TV ministry as well.
Oh, you have to wear Louis Vuitton?
Oh, it don't matter what name it is. The point is clothing are allocated to us for ministry purposes as well.
What do you mean they're allocated to you?
In a media ministry.
In a what?
Media ministry.
Yeah.
Okay, or on the road when I'm always traveling and using my clothes, I'm sweating through them.
People with traits of NPD have toxic methods of arguing, one of which is lying, denying, and changing definitions. First, he states that the name brand of the clothing is not important, when it very clearly is. When he is asked what he means by allocating the thing to him, he redefines what that means to suit his narrative.
So I'm needing new clothes also for television ministry through the years. So
And so you use ministry money to buy your wardrobe.
outfit.
Your
It's it's allocated more towards ministry apparel.
Does that go into what your income is?
I'm sorry. I don't
Do you
understand.
show that in your income that you got Louis Vuitton clothing?
No, that's not. That
That doesn't show.
because it don't go there.
It don't go there. I don't know
no.
what that means.
It don't belong there. That's out of place.
What's out of place?
You don't get taxed on things like that. That's for ministry business purpose. So it's not,
Louis Vuitton.
well, you can call whatever you want.
This reminds me of a whoopsie when a narcissist makes a mistake. They diminish it as not being a big deal. The issue is the price of the clothes, so it doesn't matter what label they are from. He seems to be trying to diminish the importance of this item.
Well, then you had a month later, Men's Warehouse for $1,000.
Yeah.
Were these for you?
Yeah, those were suits for the TV ministry.
And do you wear them when you're not on the TV?
No, only to minister in them when I'm traveling.
Right, when you're on
Travel.
TV or otherwise you wear them.
Yeah, television ministry.
But not always when you're just on TV.
Always. Either I'm being filmed.
She is clearly trying to get him to admit he wears these expensive clothes off the set. He doesn't deny, but deflects again and feigns some confusion as to her point.
When I'm up traveling around the nation, or
Then you spent another $724 for the Italian collection clothes in April.
yeah, I'm always buying suits. Well,
Always.
not always, but
Always
whenever
buying
when we need them. So,
Whenever isn't it just you?
well, I mean, because I'm the main one out front, you know. Other than that, I would sweat through all of my personal clothes. And
He is again attempting to minimize by saying we. She catches him and asks, "Isn't it just you?" He responds with fallacies and nonsense, another technique often employed by those with NPD during arguments.
they wouldn't last long. So,
So June 2014, you spent $3,500 by JMMI to Versace in the Bahamas. Yes?
I'm sure that's right. If it shows there,
And that was for closing for you?
yes, probably, yes, most likely.
So you don't see that there's any problem when you're ministering to the poor, the sick, the needy, to be appearing in Louis Vuitton and Versace?
Well, that ain't something I purchase all the time.
Well, it looks like you did several
No.
times in...
I mean, I'm a very frugal person when it comes to this. I go to the right places to get a lot of suits, and if I get some from those places, you don't see that.
You
in
don't
that
see. I
bill.
don't see Macy's.
No, you don't see that, because Macy's don't have the kind of suits that I wear.
Jesus was poor. He took a vow of poverty. You're an idiot to believe that. He was not poor. He had wealth. The robe he had on was the most expensive robe. Like my threads. Freaking get off my darn clothes. They got out there. I said, Macy don't have the suits I wear. Oh, darn idiots.
But what I'm saying is, this Louis Vuitton things, you don't see that in our charges all the time.
2013 and 14, JMMI spent over $30,000 in your clothes. Does that sound about right?
What year was that?
13 and 14?
Oh God, yes, because I was traveling so much and sweating through all my clothes. Exactly.
All right, so
Not
what is
really.
this residential center?
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that. Yeah, we don't
So are
own
you
it yet.
renting to buy or are you?
Yeah, we're leasing to buy.
This is his home, not owned, but leased and paid for by the ministry. He claims to be on a spiritual lockdown, coinciding with COVID, and he preaches via Zoom from his home. But no ministry business is done here. He will commence with deflecting and word salad.
You have that as an asset of $2,844,500. So do you own it?
I just answered that, didn't I? I said we didn't own it.
Okay,
We are
but
leasing to
where
buy
does
it.
the, I'm sorry?
We're leasing to buy it. Did you? I thought we just said that.
All right,
And again, feigning confusion when she asks, why is this listed as an asset if you do not own it?
but
Yeah.
you have listed it as an asset worth $2,844,000.
Oh, that should be more of a liability.
All right, so where does the number $2,844,000 come from on your
That's the
asset and liability?
That's, I guess, the appraisal value of the home, or the residential center. Yeah.
Is it a home?
No, it's a residential center. We use it.
All right,
For
so you're saying it's not something you own, but you have it listed as an asset of $2.8 million.
That's probably a mistake. Like I say, it probably should be a liability.
Who prepares this? This document called balance sheet.
I don't know. I don't know which one of them. I have 3 people in the office that could do this, so I don't know which one.
Do you have an accountant that does any kind of accounting work for you?
We have a private firm, yes.
And who is that?
Davis and Associates.
Davidson,
Davis and Associates.
Davis and Associates? Who prepared this document about assets and liabilities? Would your accountant have prepared this?
I don't think my accountant did that. I think that the internal office tried to answer your questions, and they pulled information from maybe documents that my professional firm did and tried to give you what you needed.
So were these documents created for the purpose of this deposition, or did they exist before?
Oh, they exist before. We have everything documented, everything, every penny.
I need an address for the residential center.
Yeah, 24,000 Tempage.
What is it?
Tempage, T-I-M.
T-I-M.
P-A-I-G-E.
That's the name of the street?
Yes, Tempage.
That's right, Timpage?
Tempage, yeah.
Avenue, road, anything?
I think it's road, probably.
And that is in St. Louis?
Yes, Chesterfield, Missouri.
He is once again lying, denying, and changing definitions. The house is his. It is a liability, not an asset, and the address he provides does not exist.
So you're renting with an option to buy?
Yes,
And who is the owner then?
the ministry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The ministry is renting with the option to buy. The owner is Harold Lewis.
Okay, and what goes on at the residential center?
She is questioning him again about the residential center that is clearly being used as his home. He will now employ a buffet of word salad to try and deflect.
It is really it's a gathering place for our ministry where I bring in different leaders and also the staff that we have as a place of, maybe resort and teaching and training.
Resort?
Yeah, teaching. A resort where we teach and train.
Do people stay overnight and live there?
No, people stay overnight. When I have guests in, they could come in and do that.
You're confident of that address that you gave me on Tim Page?
Yeah, 24,000, is that right?
You tell me.
I thought that is.
You're confident of that address, though?
I think so. I think that's right. Am I wrong? Do I need to look something up? What's the...
You're answering the question to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, thank you.
Is it possible that it's 15,400?
Oh, yes, that's right. 15,400. That is right. That's totally off. Thank you, guys. Y'all are sharp.
In my opinion, he's being very kind about being corrected to somehow balance the fact that he clearly lied about the address of his home. There is no 24,000. The street has just 2 houses on
When
it.
you say it's up to the board, now the board includes Michelle,
Yes.
you,
Yes.
and who else?
I'm not sure. You can ask Michelle.
You don't know who's on the board?
Totally. I would rather you get the accurate information because I don't want to be accused of answering falsely like I have been other times when I've tried to guess. So.
This seems like the deflect and attack toxic argument technique used by people with NPD traits. He's deflecting by saying he has no knowledge of the information and attacking by saying he has been accused of lying falsely in the past.
I just rather you, I'm telling you I don't know, just ask her.
How
She'll
many
let you know.
people are on the board?
Don't know, just.
You don't know?
No.
Don't you have to have board meetings?
Yes, we do have board meetings.
So can you count around the table how many people there are?
Well, our board also grows at the same time. So I just rather you just get that information somewhere else.
The last time you had a board meeting was when?
So on the phone, I think it's been the beginning of the year in January. Can't exactly tell the date, but
It was on the phone?
yeah.
Yeah, that ain't the right kind of pastor calling people idiots. You shut up, idiot. I ain't your servant. I don't want to be. I'm going to make sure I let you know that with my black deposition suit on.
So much of what he does and says is designed to let you know that he is better than you. He is entitled, arrogant, and self-important.
These people who are worried about where the money goes in JMMI, they the thieves. They don't pay their tithes. They don't give a freaking nickel here. Why we give a freak what you care? Why don't you drop $1 million here and then come talk to me and sit in one of these red chairs? And maybe I'll talk to you.
Provoking, bullying, and intimidating are ways people with NPD argue. In contrast to the meek-voiced man in the deposition, here he is arrogant, self-righteous, and trying to appear intimidating.
Darn chump. You're going to sit up and tell us what we need to do with the money, and you ain't giving nothing here. I don't owe you nothing. Go get a darn life and quit stealing from God. You want to say, I'm stealing from God? I pay my tithes from the time I got saved. When the last time you paid yours? But you want to talk about my suits, and I pay my tithes. I ain't a thief to God like you are. You offended at my wealth because you're a thief. Because the main people who talking don't pay their tithes. They ain't consistent. I have not missed giving God his money and his tithes and offerings, not one time in 30 years.
This is another toxic argument technique called arguing in bad faith. It means they do not care or understand what the other person is saying, or worse, they deliberately mischaracterize others to the point of absurdity.
I know a lot of some of you've gotten paychecks and you didn't give God what was his. You take his money when you don't pay your tithes. You're a thief. Because thieves are about money.
They did that. They cut, they sliced, they made me look like I was saying something that I wasn't. And a lot of people say, well, that's your own mouth saying it. Yeah, because they're asking certain questions. They ain't asking other questions. They did that craftily, and it was a homosexual. That's right, I call him because that's what he is. A homosexual who set that whole thing up. And I'm going to tell you something. It's these homosexuals in America that's trying to run this country and ruin this country. They paid off judges. And the judge, when she was paid off to put that stuff on, she gave them the sanction to put that stuff on YouTube to make me look bad. She's lucky God did not kill her for touching me and touching this ministry and turning so many millions of people, making them think that I steal money. I have seen God kill officials and politicians. I've seen him kill kings and presidents. I've seen God kill them. You cannot play around with God's glory in his messenger who has a glory face to face. Can't do it.
Well, we had better not play around with Reverend Apostle David E. Taylor. There you have it, folks. another one of our evangelistic narcissists. I think there's quite a few of them. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back on Friday with a premiere of some kind of Amber. Until then, please be kind and hasta luego.